Welcome, No DQ Galaxy, to episode number 2 of What's NXT?
What's NXT?
What's NXT, you ask? Well, that's the name that we are tentatively giving our show that we are doing now on a weekly basis. Yes, we're back, and we're going to do this every Wednesday. Probably going to be posted every Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure. But this is our show. Again, with the General Jerry Slaughter. I am the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, and we're going to do NXT, where other channels ask you to subscribe or to patron their show to do NXT reviews. We are going to give it away for free, because that's how much we love NXT. So this week, the week of October, 3rd, we started off the show with Nikki Cross.
Pretty much still going bonkers, but in an undisclosed location. Very dark, very damp.
Crazy Nikki Cross.
Mm-hmm. Very, very boiler room like, but at the same time, yeah, she's off her rocker, and we're just loving it.
Well, as crazy as she sounds, the little bits that you can make sense of, basically she is challenging Bianca Belair to another match, which is, again, from last week, I believe last week's episode, maybe 2 weeks ago, but Bianca Belair and Nikki Cross several weeks ago had a match that ended in either double disqualification, double count out.
I think it was a no contest thing, because they're having too much fun, is what.
Yeah, Nikki Cross says that they were being bad. Mm-hmm. And speaking of being bad, she knows.
We had no idea what she knows.
Yeah, she knows something.
She keeps on saying she knows.
We're gathering that she knows somehow the attacker of Aleister Black. But I guess time will tell, because I'll tell you now that at no point during the episode this week did Nikki Cross spill the beans. And I wouldn't think it's going to happen on an NXT episode anyway. That's a takeover event.
I was about to say, like, there was a severe absence of anybody being interviewed or anything of that nature, but like we've also still got people still talking about it too, and we'll get more into that here.
Yeah, it wasn't as prevalent of a storyline this week throughout the show, but it was there. However, we did not have very much absence of interviews. There was a lot of backstage promos, interviews.
A lot more stuff leading up into this next week and 2 weeks from now, and a little bit starting to build up. Looks like more towards TakeOver than anything else.
Yeah, so. NXT TakeOver, it's going to be War Games number 2. So we know that. We know that tickets are on sale now for LA. Aaron Rift is doing a meetup, No DQ 20-year anniversary meetup in LA. If you want details, if you want to RSVP, if you'd like to go to nodq.com/LA, and you can get in touch with him about that. I'm pretty sure he does like giveaways and stuff, and so it's sure to be a good time. I went to, of course, the No DQ meetup in Chicago, and it was one of the best times of my life. All I can say about that.
Well, it looks like it.
But we did get 4 matches in an hour, and that was pretty good. First match of the night.
Candice LeRae versus Lacey Evans, which...
You called it?
I was about to say, I figured it'd be coming up relatively soon, but at the same time, like, we got it tonight, like we usually say, for free, and just not for a pay-per-view or anything. They wanted a nice, strong women's match to start off the show, and
they delivered.
They delivered with this one too.
It was a good match. It was a great match, actually. I really enjoyed it. I have tons of notes on this match, whereas throughout the rest of the show, I've got a lot of notes, but not nearly as many notes, I think, for moves in this match. I was impressed.
They put on quite the clinic, not just for like the female wrestlers, but for the males too. Because like everything they did was just spot on and just very fluid.
Well, maybe because it was the first match of the night, but I was engaged from the beginning to the end. They kept me entertained.
And it was a very basic story, you know.
jealousy ish.
Bitches be tripping.
Basic story, bitches be tripping. Take notes of your own. That is one of WWE and NXT's basic storylines.
Bitches be tripping. Like it's pretty much, you know, Tales all this time. Is what it is. Time. So yeah.
Well, I want to mention some of these moves that they pulled off that I was impressed by. Let's see, Candice did a spring in execution.
Yeah.
Spring in face planter. Yeah. And that was, I didn't see that coming. I believe you thought she was going for something else. I can't remember what you said. But yeah. it didn't look like she was going, but yeah, execution, I have never seen that before. I've seen a few people do moves coming in that spring in where you drape in your one leg and then spring off the bottom rope through the middle.
Yeah.
We had Lacey Evans with a cardiac arrest into a Bronco Buster, and I think I've seen her do that before, but this time really popped. It was a great looking move.
Oh yeah, she got some mad air going up, and then mad air coming off of Candice LeRae's chest.
And then she had Candice LeRae in the corner, and then she had her in a weird. I can't even describe the corner lock she had, but she came out of it with a head scissors.
Yep.
Into I guess a neck lock with the legs, and started doing push-ups.
She started doing push-ups right in the middle of the move.
And I guess to wrench in and out of various levels of cinching by the legs, I guess.
I think she was just showing off.
Yeah, and showing off.
Pretty much.
It's, you know, it's different, you know, because like the Chris Jericho pin where he poses, that's a different kind of showing off. He knows he's not going to get the cover. But this, I mean, she's technically showing off at the same time she's performing a legitimate move.
Yeah.
Then we had LeRae comes off the second rope with a lie detector, and that's R-Truth's move where he catches him by the head basically and drops him. It's a jumping almost flatliner.
Yep, that's pretty much what I was trying to think of that, or wasn't the mic check about the same thing too, or is that like more like the Jeff Jarrett stroke? But
yeah, I think that's more like the stroke.
Yeah, it was more like the stroke. But this was a face plant more than anything, and it looked beautiful coming off that second rope. She just nailed it.
And I'm not really sure how long this match was. It could have been short for all I know, but it was so fluid and it was such a good match that it didn't require length. It required the length it took them to pull off the match, and that's all it needed.
What I really love about this match is it started off so scientific and so technical, and then
it quickly evolved, and then it quickly devolved
into pretty much one of those Jerry Springer moments.
Yeah, the cat fight. The claws came out because at some point toward the end of the match, this was basically the conclusion. Lacey Evans says to Candice LeRae, she says, "You're a loser, just like your husband." And the claws came out because LeRae attacks her in the corner, starts beating on her, and then the ref has to break it up. She runs back in, starts beating on her, and the ref breaks it up. Then she takes Jerry from Jerry. It's almost Jerry Inception. Speaking of Inception, I'll get to that in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But she goes in for a third round of beating on Lacey Evans in the corner, and Evans just clocks her with a woman's right.
Yeah.
Lays her flat. 1, 2, 3. It was beautiful.
She just... That's the thing. She was so fuming at that point. She just walked right back in like she was going to get more.
Walked right into it.
And all she got was a face full of knuckles. So, yeah.
And it was a great match, and I hate to end but maybe that's good that we make the video shorter because last week was almost 2 hours, and we apologize, but it will be one episode per week from now on, so hopefully we'll keep it under an hour. Our screen back here, we were scrolling through the YouTube channel looking for a video from Aaron to have the No DQ logo up behind us, and the idea popped into my head that maybe we should do our video and have us behind ourselves in sort of an inception, and then just every week we'll just do that with the latest video until it's just like one of those double mirror things of us going all the way back until it's no fun anymore. then we'll get a real logo for
Yep.
the show. If we keep the name, this is or what's NXT? Sorry. Well, maybe we'll have a logo for that. If any of you are good at doing that, make us a what's NXT logo. That would be awesome.
Or if you have a suggestion on a better name.
Yeah, if you have a suggestion on a better name.
We're all for it.
Yeah, we're open. It's only episode 2 of hopefully many. So we'll keep going, and hopefully one of these days we'll have a really awesome shot here, and then we'll go from that into a real logo. Yeah. But moving on, in the spirit of keeping this shorter.
A promo.
Yeah, video package hyping the triple threat for the North American championship, and it was a really good promo. It was a really good video package. Just basically all 3 contenders. You have Adam Cole, who is the ex-champ, the former champ, the first champ. Mm-hmm. You have the champ in Ricochet, and you have the new contender in the United Kingdom champion, Pete Dunne. And they're all just, being themselves and being great on the mic and talking about why they're going to win.
It's like I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, I'm the best.
And they're all right, I guess.
They're all the best in their field. They really are.
My comment about this was they were kind of making it out to be bigger than it is, because I think one of them's talking about they're going to be on top of it. Pete Dunne said he was already on top of you. He owned UK. He's the best there. Now he's going to be the best he said that was the next step.
Yeah.
So I guess he recognizes that, there is an NXT champ, and unlike Raw with the Universal title, the champ is actually around on NXT. In fact, he cut a promo later on in the evening. But this was a great video package. It hypes me up for next week. Neither one of us can wait for next week. We've got at least one other match to announce formally for us. If you've watched NXT already, of course you already know. But if you're just watching us to find out what happened on NXT, maybe you don't have the network, but yeah, we've got some news on another match coming next week. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible.
So after the video package, we had a hype video for the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
Also known as Jackson Riker, also known as Gunner.
Yep.
And also we have Steve Cutler, which to me is kind of a weak wrestling name. Who's Steve Cutler? Like just some dude from my homeroom. Like Steve Cutler? Cutler? Like, I don't know. And then we have Wesley Blake, which I guess is a little bit better sounds.
Wesley Blake sounds kind of soap opera.
Yeah. No wonder they're called the Forgotten Sons. People forget their names. I had to write them down so I wouldn't forget their names.
I had to keep reading the tights myself.
But I did the same for the other three-man tag group. This was a 6-man tag, and it was basically a 6-man tag squash match to get over the Forgotten Sons. We had them versus the team of Vinnie Mixon, Tori Kirsch, and Caesar Rise.
Because this was the first match with the 3 of them actually wrestling together.
I don't know if it's the first match, but I think one of them got injured, so it's at least the first match in a while.
Yeah. Cutler still is actually still nursing a broken nose, and now he's wearing the face mask for protective face mask to.
Yeah, that's how we've decided to figure out who's who. We're going to associate the name Cutler with the mask.
Yep.
And then Blake is just the other guy, because we both know who Gunner is. Mm-hmm. Call him Jackson Riker if you will, but we both know, and he definitely looks like the standout.
Yeah,
he is built and cut, and he looks like he mentioned at the beginning of the match he's the leader now. I guess so. I guess he's the leader of the Forgotten Sons.
Because he's like, you got them both on the top ropes, and then you got him standing there right in the middle of the 2 of them. So yeah. The spotlight's
pretty much
clearly on him. So I think that's what they're going to be building up a lot, is the fact that he is now the leader of that pack.
Plus, he's got the best name.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Jackson Riker. That screams wrestler. It was a good squash match for a 6-man tag match for what it was. There was a few key spots that were really fun to watch. They had one guy in the Tree of Woe. Yeah. Excuse me. had him in the Tree of Woe, and one guy did a drop kick to him, but then they followed it up with a
Cutler did the drop kick to the Tree of Woe, and then Jackson ended up hip tossing Blake right into the dude that was in the Tree of Woe, and that's just great teamwork right there. They're really pushing the whole 6-man tag thing to the point where I'm thinking they're going to be incorporating a lot more of the Freebird rule after a while with the
either that or they're priming for
a trios tournament
or a trios tag championship.
Yeah, I see a trios like that's really big in Mexico, and it's one of the biggest shows in Jakarta is the King of Trios tournament that they have. They have just a whole bunch of 6-man tag matches, and it's I think it's like a 2-night tournament. And yeah, those usually have some of the most innovative moves you can really think of, because you have your people launching your opponents with 3-person attacks, or even using their own teammates as weapons, like we saw in that match with the hip toss. So.
Yeah, they're definitely building up the Forgotten Sons, I guess, to replace the 3-man of Sanity.
Yep.
But it was a great match for what it was. Highlighting them basically is all it was meant to do, is to make them look good. Maybe a little too good. There was a point where Blake did a no-sell on a clothesline that I don't think he's big enough to no-sell that clothesline. Like, he should have taken at least a little bit of it.
Like, basically, you have to have that ability to, you gotta look a little more tone, I think, in order to actually pull something off like that, or be a little bit bigger. But like
he wasn't that much bigger than his opponent. I mean, he was bigger, yes, but not that much bigger. It's
maybe a little bit of a stumble to show. But that
level of no sell. But then he did a reverse DDT in the corner after a tag where Cutler comes off the middle rope with a double stomp, and that was a sweet move.
Yeah, but then it kind of like. All 3 of them were in the ring.
Yeah, it confused us. They clear out the quarter of the jobbers. They clear the 2 jobbers off the ring apron, knock them out, and then they come back. And I've even got written here, triple team move a coming. They've got something they figured out. It's going to be an awesome looking triple team. And what happens?
It's like Blake and Cutler just throw him into Jackson. He does his slingshot, jackknife, power bomb,
which did look better this week. It looked like he was putting more motion into it.
More torque, definitely.
And it was definitely a jackknife this week because he just threw him away. He Kevin Nash, no help at all. Here, I'm just going to drop you, and you do what you do. And he tossed him away, but no triple team move. They just threw him into the setup for the.
It's like they threw him violently over there. Just to be powerbombed.
Maybe they're building it up, and we'll see a bunch of 3-man tags, and we'll see them look like they're going to do some awesome 3-man, and then they won't. But then at NXT Takeover, War Games, we'll finally see them do some awesome 3-man move.
We can only hope
it'll pay off. Because that was a moment I was mildly disappointed.
Yeah, that kind of killed the momentum of the match for me.
Well, they had done so many great tag team moves.
Yeah.
That the one or 2 of them that I had never seen before.
Yeah.
And then it was just Riker's finishing move. But it was still a good match for what it was. It highlighted him and made him look good. Coming up next was a video recap from last week, I believe, of Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane had just won her match. Baszler comes out, and we find out she's gonna
face her at Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution. I don't know if I'm looking forward to this match. I'm still not a fan of Kairi Sane's gimmick.
Neither am I, but I'll say as much. They had this whole video of her Baszler training afterwards, just at this dojo type area where it looked like she was learning whole bunch of different more styles of fighting, reversals, anything that she can bring to the table new to throw Kairi off her game. And I won't say I was psyched for the match because like you said, I just can't get behind the same character. And
Well, for me, the follow-up promo, the one you were talking about, showing Baszler at this new training camp that she says this more
the fight camp.
fight camp.
That's what she kept on calling it. The fight camp.
It gives a different level of intrigue to the match in that Kairi Sane does have 2-1. She's got 2 wins to 1 loss over Baszler, and so it kind of feels like Baszler might actually be a bit of an underdog going in, and so this gives a new layer to her character where she's saying that she's going to evolve.
Yeah.
And at Evolution, she's going to show that she's evolved to this next level because she needs to be able to beat Kairi Sane. So she's actually taking Kairi Sane seriously.
Oh, yeah.
And this is actually the first time, I believe, we've seen Shayna Baszler take anybody seriously.
Yeah. She looks extremely focused on this match, and she's pretty much at that do or die moment. Because if she messes this up in any way, shape, or form,
Then she's got to earn another title
she
match.
falls right back down the ladder, and somebody else goes to contention. She's back to where, yeah, she'll have to work even harder to get right back up where she was.
So after this, we had a Tony Nese interview.
Oh, yes.
Which kind of was surprising. 205 Live guys are showing up in weird places these days. We've got 2 guys showing up on Raw as managers, and now we have Tony Nese showing up for a match on NXT. Seems like maybe they're finding places for these 205 guys, 205 Live guys, so that when the brand shuts down, they can keep some of the talent.
Yeah, just kind of bring them up little by little. That way, because I think they don't really see this as a failure, but just not as successful as NXT and these other products that they have going on right now.
If they're really going to make the 205 Live idea successful, get rid of 205 Live, make it just the Cruiserweight division, put it on NXT, make NXT an hour and a half or 2 hours long, and then you can have 3 or 4 Cruiserweight matches, or maybe 3 Cruiserweight matches and 5 NXT matches. I don't know, something like that. That's how you make it work. You do it at Full Sail, and it's fine. I mean, they're not going to be put on Raw again anyway. They're not going to be put on SmackDown. Just let them do it at Full Sail so they don't have to do a full schedule for a show that barely gets any ratings.
Oh yeah, just about to say, just combine the roster in general for NXT and 205 would actually just make more sense, if anything, because especially since they have the North American belt now, it only makes sense to have almost like a belt just right under that for also almost like a TV title.
I mean, you got the UK Championship, but
yeah,
I'm assuming that's going to go away when NXT UK really takes off. It's going to go back over there, and that's where it's going to be showcased.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll come off of regular United States NXT television. So it makes sense. It just makes sense to me that just combine the brands, just make it all at Full Sail, where the crowd is actually going to appreciate the Cruiserweight division, going all the way back to the Cruiserweight Classic. But let's get on with the because we're actually about halfway through, because that interview was setting up the match with Johnny Gargano, who we weren't sure if he was going to wrestle or not. He said he was coming back this week in the promo last week, but that doesn't mean he's going to have a match. I guess it should, because technically he was there. He was getting an interview.
For all we know, he could have been just coming back to either watch a match or interfere in a match or whatever. But
being on commentary for a match, you never know.
He was very vague.
But before that, we had, and like I said, very heavy with the interviews. But I guess when you don't have commercials or regular commercials, they did have WWE commercials, you know, for Super Showdown, for the sort of commercial-esque vignette for the October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and they have those kind of commercials.
Well, as soon as it becoming, foundation is like huge with them.
But I guess as long as they don't all look the same and they don't have the same vibe, it's a good thing. You get more people on the show without actually having to put them in matches.
Yeah.
You get 4 solid matches, and you get just a smattering of backstage interviews, promos. Ciampa had the promo. Looks like he's doing it with his phone.
Yep.
So we have next a Johnny Gargano versus Tony Nese match. That was, oh no, I'm sorry, I was gonna skip the interview with Bianca Belair,
Yeah.
talking about Nikki Cross, and basically, she's answering the question of whether she'll accept the challenge, and I guess in a weird dancing around the question way, she still answered it.
Yeah. She pretty much agreed to the match, but she keeps on saying
Defeated.
Oh, it's not even. It's not even defeated. It's duh. It's
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
So she basically says she plans on embarrassing Bianca, or not Bianca, Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and give this away. This is coming in 2 weeks.
Yep.
The same night that we will see the Undisputed Era defend the NXT Tag Team Championships against the War Raiders.
Yep.
We will also see Bianca Belair in the rematch with Nikki Cross. Hopefully we'll see a definitive finish. Maybe we'll actually see Bianca Belair no longer be undefeated. I'm sorry, I keep pronouncing it the way that I think you're supposed to.
Well, I was about to say, you're not black enough to pull it off.
I guess not,
because that's one of the names. Like it was kind of thrown out. What's happening in NXT?
What's happening in NXT?
Yeah, so it's like what's happening next.
But then he started going into the what's happening show, and I'm like, I don't think I could pull off the.
It was embarrassing, and the camera wasn't rolling, so it was actually a good thing.
So next we had Johnny Gargano versus Tony Nese. For the first half of this match, I was underwhelmed. It was not engaging or memorable. It seemed like a very, very regular match.
It seemed like a filler match for a little bit there. It just seemed like a way to almost kill time between the promos and the interviews at that point.
Yeah.
Which is horrible, because you have these two world-class athletes you have Nese, who's just full-blown cut. The guy has got one of the best physiques.
He looks like a 5'10" Lex Luger, man.
Yeah, but that's what we were discussing, is the fact that he can do the narcissist angle and have mirrors come down, or some for LED type technology.
Oh yeah, he said mirrors. I'm like, nah, they'd have like 3 giant fucking TV screens come down that all like reflect from a camera on them, and he'll like pose. He'll have one on each side except the hard camera side. He'll just pose and look at himself. But it got to be a better match. There were some good spots in here. Mostly from Nese. Nese was brutal in this match.
Yes, he was.
So they made him look as good as possible. So, of course, I knew that Johnny Gargano was going to win. I had my doubts before finding out it was Nese, but Nese is a 205 Live guy, and the brand is still alive. He has absolutely no need for a win here.
No.
None. But he looked amazing. He dropped Gargano on his neck so many times.
Oh my god.
He does a single arm power bomb, and I guess he's aiming for the middle or the bottom turnbuckle, but he catches him on the middle rope near the turnbuckles where you know the rope is tight, and he just snaps that rope where the rope
was just shaking like
around the ring, all 4 ropes.
It felt like it was happening for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but it was only like not even
probably 15 or 16 seconds maybe.
Yeah, but the ropes just
it looked brutal. I believe every spot that I'm about to mention we backed up and watched again at least once or twice. So we had that to the neck. We had Nese do a backdrop. He took Gargano over the top rope, but Gargano kind of rolls with the drop and catches the back of his neck on the frickin' apron.
Yep.
We backed that up. We had Tony Nese with a plancha over the top rope with a 180 turn. I think then he takes him right back into the ring for a 450 splash.
Yeah. And the way he actually nailed it was so crisp.
So crisp.
He there was like no misstep in his movement at all. He was just in the zone.
It wasn't psychosis, but Was it Psychosis?
Juventud Guerrero.
Oh yeah, there we go. Juventud Guerrero.
Yeah.
He did a four. I don't know if you're are the younger viewers, the younger No DQ Galaxy viewers, go back and watch some Juventud Guerrero 450 splashes. He brings them all the way into the corner, and he dives down and does a 450. And it's the shortest distance to the mat, and he does the 450 and lands it hard. And I don't know why he never broke his neck. Or maybe he did and I didn't know about it. But good grief. Wasn't quite that, but it was absolutely crisp looking.
Yes.
Then we had Nice do a German suplex into the turnbuckle. And I guess this is where Gargano got pissed off. Because from here, the match completely turns.
Yeah, I was about to say, usually like a turnbuckle, but like a suplex or something like that would spell the end.
Back of the neck into the middle turnbuckle after working on the neck for half the match in these amazing moves.
It's almost like he said, again with the neck?
Yeah, he didn't no-sell it, but he almost. Because he sold it just long enough for Nice to come off the ropes, and then he super kicked him. Gargano super kicked Nice.
Yeah.
He took the super kick and then did a clothesline that inverted Nice. They were both down for just a moment, and then Gargano locks on the Gargano escape.
Yeah.
And that's...
That hurts still, that.
Yeah, he got Nice to tap, and Gargano won. We figured he was going to win.
Yeah.
I didn't figure they were going to make Nice look as good as he did. But I guess when you make Nice look that good and that dominant, it makes Gargano look good when he comes back.
That's one of the things I really dug about the fact that Gargano and LeRae actually did hook up. Is the fact that they're both like super awesome at their job too.
Yeah, so a true power couple if they ever can rise to that.
Yeah, because they actually had this ability to bring out the best in any opponents that they have. No disrespect to Nice in any way, shape, or form. I
always said that about Andrade Cien Almas.
Yeah.
Is every time somebody's like, oh, remember that match where he was so great? I'm like, every one of those matches, and even the ones that he's had on SmackDown that have been great, I'm like, he's always in the ring with somebody that's going to make anybody look good.
Yeah.
Like, he was in there with Black, and they're like, oh, that was great. Or was he? With Gargano, he was in there. Yeah.
I saw one with him and AJ not too long ago, and that was actually a really good match. But then I looked back in the match, and I'm like, AJ kind of carried him a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm more interested in the matches that he has with lesser known guys, like the one that he did with Sin Cara, which was not all that impressive.
Yeah,
does kind of make sense to me. But anyway, we'll see. With him, we'll see. But I find that a lot with a lot of the guys that are like, oh, they're so great. I'm like, all the matches that I remember that they were great in were with guys that could make anything. They could have a match with a stick and it would look great.
Yeah.
So after this, we get a very long video package, really, about Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan.
Yeah.
And they talk about the match that I saw live in Chicago, in NXT Chicago. Apparently, was it Lorcan?
Yep, Lorcan guy's like
orbital bone. Yeah. He broke his face, taking that knee from, I believe it was
Roderick Strong.
Was it Roderick? I thought it was okay.
Roderick delivered the knee.
So it was a fairly well done promo, but it wasn't. I don't know if it was hyping them so much as it was hyping their comeback.
Yeah,
and kind of giving them more of a baby face feel because of the broken face and coming back from it.
They're definitely going with the comeback kid kind of storyline with them. It's like yeah, we came up together because we found a mutual respect. And
well, I think they said they were fighting at first, but then realized that they'd be even better if they tagged together. It was good, but it was kind of NXT version of commercial.
Yeah.
In between that and then the announcements for again, like we said, Nikki Cross and Bianca Belair in 2 weeks. But we also had an announcement for next week with a match that I thought we were going to see tonight. But it's going to be next week is Kona Reeves versus Keith Lee. So next week's show, I don't know about because of Kona Reeves, but because of Keith Lee, that's probably going to be a really good match.
Oh yeah, it looks. I don't really know much about either two, but they have like such great personalities that I want to see how this actually unfolds in the ring because Kona looks like he's going to be a little faster, little lighter on his feet than Keith. And Keith is like the powerhouse type. So anytime you get two different styles like that in a match together, it usually holds my attention a lot more than two guys with similar styles being put into the same ring together, because it kind of limits it a little bit.
But at the same time, I think that Reeves is also big enough that he'll put on a convincing match.
Oh, absolutely.
With a guy as big as Keith Lee.
Well, these days you have to be like a hybrid wrestler to actually keep up or even become somewhat relevant in this new wrestling atmosphere they have. You need to have the speed, but you need to also have the strength, and you also need to have a certain charisma to you to hold the people's attention. And yeah, so
if the show starts with this match with Kona Reeves and Keith Lee, and it's going to end with the triple threat match again next week for the North American Championship, it's going to be Adam Cole, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne. And that's going to be, as JR would say, a slobber knocker. Actually,
yeah.
It's probably not going to be a slobber knocker. It's probably just going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely going to be holy shit worthy, and you're going to have a whole bunch of fight forever.
Well, as good as these guys are, I mentioned to him while we were watching the show, I really hope they put on one of those fests of those triple moves that I feel like Impact and TNA made a not famous really, but for me they did. Just seeing how many different ones they could do back when the X Division was all triple threat matches, and they used to do all these spots where you'd have a regular move, but out of one guy doing a regular move on another, the third guy would do something on that guy, and they would come up with all these variations of crazy moves. So I hope we see some of those.
Yeah,
but with these guys' styles.
Oh yeah, with you were just talking about that for the longest time. Like my end all be all matches. Anytime you put Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles into a match together,
I could drool.
It was pretty much gonna be an instant classic.
But you could interchange a few people. Chris Sabin.
Oh yeah.
Well, that comes off almost instantly. But Austin Aries.
Yeah, he was gonna make an appearance on the show, but
yeah, I was looking for something NXT to put up here between the titles, and I have one thing NXT that I could find was an Austin Aries figure
and that's
from NXT, and it makes us sad that he's no longer with WWE, but for good reason.
Yes.
Yeah, let's make that a thing. # merge NXT and 205 Live. Main event time.
Yep.
I don't know how long this video has been, but hopefully it is almost over. Although I have a half a page of notes on the main event.
Yeah.
As short as the match was, and you called it, you said at the beginning of the show, I bet that main event's going to be 8 minutes.
Well,
sure enough.
Here's how it was just a one-off comment I made, because EC3 was doing they had the little graphic and had EC3 doing his 3 pose, and they had Lars Sullivan doing his hand thing where it looks almost like claw like 5. So like 3 + 5 = 8. Probably the number of minutes of the match.
And it was just about.
Sure enough, we queued it up. Like we brought the time right about where
it was the commercial before the WWE commercial for, I think, Super Showdown or something before it, and there was about 10 minutes to go, and then Lars Sullivan has a semi-long entrance, and normally EC3 would too. Now, we both, because we've seen Lars Sullivan's entrance before, but just to comment now, the silhouette, man.
Yeah, that is like impactful in ways that I can't even fathom.
I know, and it's so simple.
Yeah,
and for if you don't know what we're talking about, they've got all the lights are out. They've got a really bright light way back here behind Lars Sullivan, and they're shooting him from down on the floor up through the corner, and he stands into the silhouette, and then they pan out. And it's just the you see he's all black, but that you've got that
white
that eclipse
silhouette. It's
it's
very eclipse-like
outline. So it's awesome looking, and yeah, he's got a long entrance. And EC3 normally comes out, and he comes out, points to his E, his C, his 3, and then looks over his shoulder. No, he gets the E in,
Yeah.
and then he turns around and breaks for that ring. He is after Lars Sullivan's ass.
It's almost like he was going to do the usual, peek over shoulder type thing, but then it was on. He head right out into the ring, and that's when things started getting. It was on.
It was on. EC3 put up a hell of a fight in this match. Probably more than we've seen anybody say other than Aleister Black put up against Lars Sullivan.
Way more than Walker last week.
He might have even put up a better fight than Aleister Black, because I believe I remember Aleister Black taking most of the beating in that match. He just came back at the end.
Yeah.
And a few spots during the match, come back,
well,
but then get beat down again.
Lars is one of those ones. He's very, I'll go ahead and say, he's very Ivan Drago-ish. You have to pretty much take a whole bunch of punishment from him.
Well, you have to dish out some punishment, and EC3's strategy for dishing out the punishment was take him outside, and he kind of got a little too rough.
Yeah, he threw
Lars into
ring steps and lacerated his back.
Yeah,
I won't say
a big cut from the bottom of his shoulder blade up his shoulder. It wasn't wide per se, but it was long.
It was long and it was swollen.
The ref got down there to make sure that he was okay to continue. I suppose you could think that maybe he could have broken a shoulder or a rib, but he didn't. He continued the match, but EC3 beat him pretty good for a while. He had an amazing power slam. I did not, as strong as EC3 is and looks, I did not think he'd be able to power slam.
But planted him right in the middle of the ring. Then came out for the ropes with the elbow and went for a pin. And we just know that's not going to happen.
He dropped him with it was a sort of a DDT into a leg sweep, dropping him forward onto the back of his head. But Lars he's too much, man. He picks him up. He does what I call John Cena's fucked up suplex. It's one of the 5 moves of dooms. You got shoulder block, and then the fucked up suplex, which is, why would you stand up from the shoulder block and swing at him? Because he's going to duck and then lift you up for the fucked up suplex. And then the 5-knuckle shuffle. And then,
I'm about to say, it used to be called the Protoplex back when he was the prototype of WWE.
So he does it, but he throws him just like freaking halfway across the ring from corner to corner. So that's even more than half, I think.
Yeah.
By the way, just to let you know, during this awesome match, comes on the ticker, the yellow ticker. Tickets are on sale now for NXT War Games LA.
Yeah.
By the way, right now you can go to nodq.com/LA and RSVP to the No DQ meetup. Just a second plug for that. This match ended about how I would expect it to end, even though it's EC3.
Yeah. We had ourselves. It was on the outside, and then Lars Sullivan hit him with, I guess say a backdrop.
It was a freak accident. That's his finisher. EC3 goes to jump at Lars Sullivan while he's standing next to where the steps would have been had he not broken his freaking back open on him.
Yeah.
But he catches Lars Sullivan in the air, turns it into a freak accident on the apron.
Yes.
On the hardest part of the ring, guys.
The most unforgiving part.
And you would think that would be enough, roll him into the ring, pin him, but this is the first time I've seen this out of Lars Sullivan. He gets up on the top rope, not just a diving elbow, a falling elbow.
It was a head
or
drop.
Not elbow, diving headbutt. Not just a diving headbutt, a falling headbutt, like a tree would fall. Just comes down on EC3's shoulder. And EC3, I don't know at what point, but this is the point I noticed. EC3 is spitting up blood.
Yeah.
So somewhere in this, he took a hard bump. And at that point, because he's spitting up blood and it's not just like, his head's busted open. Yeah, it's good this match had stayed at 8 minutes. That was the end. It's how I expected it. It was going to end like a squash match would, except it wasn't a squash match because EC3 looked pretty good for half of the match.
EC3 put up a hell of a fight. And looked a lot less tan than last time. We'll go ahead and throw that out there because he looked
Yeah.
a lot looked a lot less bronzed, like he had just gotten out of a so it's one of those spray on tan machines. So
Okay, so this wasn't a 25, 30 minute instant classic like we saw last week.
no,
Last week from the week before in the UK title versus the North American title championship. That one got a 4.5 out of 5 of the General's 5 stars. So what does the General Jerry Slaughter give this main event, this 8-minute that you called? I thought it was a good match.
yeah,
Not to influence you or anything. I thought it was a good match.
I thought it was a good match, but I'm thinking maybe I'm just still spoiled
Yeah.
from
Right.
last 2 weeks shows. Like a lot of these heavyweight matches, especially when there's so many power moves involved, they really don't register as well with me as in like for matches that have more of a mix to them, more submission holds, more like just more innovative things, because like a lot of what we saw was pretty much very smash mouth, very like good God Almighty, he could be broken in half
Right.
kind
That's
of
true, yeah.
things. So
So there was a lot of impact for what little there was.
yeah, it was an 8-minute match. If it had been any longer, I think it would have been felt drawn out. But if
Too
it was
long.
any shorter, it would have kind of messed up the flow of things. So I think it was like for what it was, I'd still give it about 4 stars, 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. That's pretty generous.
It's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
It's still better than pretty much anything Roman Reigns ever does.
So for me, so for me, this match, opposite of the problem that I had with the North American versus the UK Championship match, where that one didn't end in a definitive finish. This one, I don't think should have ended in a definitive finish, and I'll tell you why. They've had a pretty good build up for this. I think there's been 3 or 4 weeks and 3 or 4 different backstage promos and segments that have built toward this match. And this was not a very special feeling show.
Yeah.
This wasn't one of those shows like next week it's going to feel with, and maybe a match like this would overshadow, but I know we've got several weeks, we've got months until NXT TakeOver LA or War Games. So maybe you can't keep this going until War Games, but put it on a more special show.
Yeah.
And then have a definitive finish. This finish doesn't feel like this feud can continue, and I would really rather see this match with a 15 or 20 minute time limit, with a better story in the ring, a longer, well, maybe not a better story, but a story that would would be for, I don't know how to say it. I want more for this match.
I see what you're saying there. It's this whole card that they had for this show, as much as it's more, as more as it's better than most of the stuff they actually have on the 3-hour shows and whatnot. They fit a lot into this 1 hour, but it felt more like a setup for like a pay-per-view, almost like one of those free-for-all kind of things, where like it was just kind of like the stuff that went on just to show promos for something that's going to be happening in a week or two. Focus on that evening, because
it's a catch-22.
Yeah,
it's a catch-22 for me, because I liked the match so much and I liked how these two paired together. I want to see more. But the ending of this match made it feel like this is it.
Yeah, it felt very...
So I feel kind of cheated.
Yeah.
Like, if this was going to be it, then it should have been a 20 or 25-minute classic. Tell that story. Tell the end of the feud story. If this does carry on, hopefully it's for a good reason, because this match was pretty definitive. Lars had a definitive win. There was no shenanigans. There was no screwiness. If anything, EC3 was the one that was taking it outside, throwing him into... Lars Sullivan could have done it in the middle of the ring and beat him.
Yeah.
And he did. So...
it's one of those matches that should not really ended with a gimmick match, or maybe like an ambulance or a last standing match or something like that. Because
So I like this match so much. I wished it was longer, or I wish that it didn't have a definitive ending, so we could see another one, or maybe we will see another one. But okay, so I did like the match. I really enjoy. I mean, and especially the end was Lars just looked, and I get maybe it makes EC3 look a little bad, but Lars just looked like a fucking beast. And the
I don't
diving
know.
headbutt.
I think the fact that EC3 did take so much punishment towards the end was able to dish so much punishment out at the beginning.
I mean, I guess nobody was gonna kick out of that diving headbutt after that freak accident on the
I was about to say it gave him a little more credibility with that. So
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. I'm gonna give it 4 stars too.
All right, cool.
Out of your General's 5-star system.
Yeah.
His original, completely original Generals. That's sarcasm, by the way, for anybody. So, for the General Jerry Slaughter and the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, he has no plugs, unless you got a Twitter. Maybe by next episode he'll have a Twitter and he'll have a plug for you guys. I recommend Twitter. You can do Twitter and it just be wrestling. That way, when you're at work and you don't want to have spoilers, you just don't go to Twitter. You can go to Facebook. That's how I do it. You can follow me on Twitter. Just go to nodq.com/Stefan, Stefan, and you'll find my Twitter page. You can also find my YouTube page. That's Aftermatch Wrestling, all one word. And again, for Jerry, for Stefan, y'all have a good night.